love that water. Okay, ready. Okay. Hey guys, Tim the Clipper Guy here, and I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes, and we're going to go over some proper bathing techniques with a horse. And a few things we'll talk about are typical places that you might overlook, especially like when you're bathing in a hurry, but also, you know, those places that you miss are actually some of the most important places. We'll talk about how to wash the head, and if we can't wash the head, what we can do instead of washing, and just general things to look for when bathing. It's more than just getting water on and getting water off to keep them cool. So we'll go ahead and just start slowly, and as we get to different areas, I'll just point them out on things you should look for. So you always want to start turning on the water slowly. Obviously, this one loves the water, so it's not going to be hopefully too big of an issue. But we'll just start on slowly to make sure that, you know, they're not afraid of the water. Obviously, she is not, and it's very hot today, so she's a little thirsty. And then we start low on the legs to make sure that, you know, if they are scared of the water, you never want to start high on the horse. You don't want them to go away from you. So we're starting on the legs and work our way up. On their chest, this is where they hold a lot of sweat and a lot of dirt accumulates, and they also can get a lot of bug bites. So you want to get wet, and you also want to rub your hands in there. She has a few bites, but nothing that's abnormal. So you just want to keep that in your head. And then we can slowly start moving upward. Up on the shoulder, up and down the back. And something you want to keep in mind is that when you start putting the water on the horse, sometimes they can start to kick at their belly. And they're not purposely trying to kick at you, but you need to be aware that they might kick at the water first because it's just dripping off of their side. Slowly move up in between the legs. Now this is also a very important part. A lot of sweat and a lot of dirt gets up under there. And then with this mare, up in where her teats are, very important to make sure that at least gets water up in there, because you can cause a lot of skin issues by just leaving it sweaty and dusty. A lot of chafing. Horses can get chafing really bad. And then when they start to chafe, and then it attracts the flies, and then you can get an infection. So I'm going to widen it up a little bit to get on her belly. Get up and down her belly really well. And then here, in the girth of the horse, the girth area of the horse, you want to get in there just like you got in back in between her hind legs. You want to get up in between the front legs behind the chest as well. And then back up into behind her. And you can see all the dust coming out. I mean, these are things. And up here, on the top of the sacroiliac joint, right, which is right here on the top of the horse, top of the hip, you know, this is where we overlook, even just on general grooming, this goes overlooked a lot because whether we're shorter or something, but it's an area that holds most of the dirt actually on top. And a lot of the horses that get problems with like discoloration of the fur, that's because all the sweat and dirt is just held up there and has just burned their hair. Move back down the leg, and then under the tail, very important. Standing off to the side, so you're not, you still have a chance to get cow kicked, but if you stand out a few feet away from the horse and you gently run your hand down the tail, and you can lift up the tail and slowly go up to make sure that area gets rinsed out. Take a peek, make sure there's no cuts, make sure everything's good, make sure there's no dried on poop, diarrhea. You know, diarrhea is a sign that you need to let whoever's in charge know that something's going on. When we're rinsing the tail, really get into the tailbone. You don't want to just go to the top, because all the sweat that holds on their tailbone and stuff, if it goes overlooked, it can cause the hair to fall out. We're going to get this really good and wet now, because we're going to soap it up too later. Go around and get her other side, and then we'll move to the head, see if she'll let us do that. Same thing with this side. And even if it's the horse that you do this every day, all the time with, you never want to assume that they're going to be perfect. Stuff happens to even the most, experienced horse. You still have to treat every day like it's a new day, like they don't know. And also by doing that, that'll give them the confidence and will help them know their routine a little bit better so they know what to expect. Back down in the girth. Back up in between the legs from this side, because you can still miss something from the other side on that inside left hind leg. You can see the dirt coming out even from this side, from the top. Grab the tail. Pull the tail towards you if you can. You can push it away from you, but by pushing the tail away from you, that puts you closer to the hind end, which is very dangerous. You want to pull it towards you, and if you're ambidextrous. And that's just getting their body rinsed off. So we can stop it there, and then I can go